A little glotet. A glotina. A gloatsy. What in the fresh hell is a gloatsy? Sounds like something my Aunt Carol names, her weird poodle mixes.
For heaven's sake, that's a direct quote, context. We are sick to be discussing Misfortune and Mr. Right by Savannah Scott. A book, I might add, but some reviewers are calling perfection.
Perfection. Perfection is finding an onion ring in your fries. This book sounds like the literary equivalent of beige wallpaper. Apparently, the big drama is some guy named Logan has been mildly inconveniencing the main character, Olivia, since 3rd grade. Scary. Did he steal her juice box?
It's presented as a lifelong pattern of competitive sabotage, culminating in him acquiring both the apartment she desired and a promotion she felt entitled to at their shared workplace. It explores themes of rivalry and perception. Think Pride and Prejudice if Elizabeth Bennet held a grudge over a spelling bee.
Pride and Prejudice. Please. That book had actual tension. This sounds like two squirrels fighting over the same, slightly less moldy, nut for 20 years. And don't get me started on your idea of tension. Remember Moby Dick? You thought the whale was a metaphor. I still say, Ahab just needed a bigger boat. And maybe some therapy.
We are not relitigating Melville. Focus. Olivia Penn, logically fixated on this rivalry. One reviewer even felt personally triggered by Olivia's perpetual second-place status. It speaks to a deep-seated insecurity, perhaps a classic inferiority complex exacerbated by
Triggered. Lady needs to get a grip. My ex-wife, still triggered, because I used her fancy shampoo. Back in '09. People hold on to the dumbest things. Olivia sounds exhausting. Logan got the slightly bigger cubicle. My life is ruined. Wine. Wine. Wine.
While her perspective might seem disproportionate, Logan Alexander isn't exactly portrayed as a saint initially. His strategy, revealed later, was apparently to stay close to her since childhood to eventually win her over. There's a fine line between romantic pursuit and, well,
stalking. Let's call it what it is. Decades. That's not Darcy energy. That's guy hiding in the bushes energy. He steals her apartment, steals her job. This isn't romance. It's psychological warfare. Probably smells her hair when she's not looking. Bet he has a creepy shrine made of her discarded post-it notes.
That is pure conjecture. The text frames it as Nasum's affection masked by competitive drive. He's stoic, perhaps emotionally repressed.
Repressed. He sounds like a robot. A perfectly annoying, handsome robot who sweats attractively, according to Olivia. Revolting. The only character who sounds remotely normal is the dog. Rut. Probably judges them both silently. I bet Rut's thinking. Just sniff each other's butts and get it over with. Humans.
Moving on. The question remains, despite the character, its centricity's good. Is the book actually good? Reviewers are polarized, though heavily skewed positive, often citing the Pride and Prejudice parallels in the, quote, swoon-worthy nature of Logan.
Swoon-worthy. Or snooze-worthy. They rave about how clean it is. Kisses only. Closed door. My toaster generates more heat. You could read this to a toddler during nap time, and they'd still fall asleep faster. It's offensively inoffensive. Hallmark movies watch this book and think, wow, maybe we should spice things up a bit.
The clean aspect clearly appeals to a specific readership, seeking comfort reads without explicit content. But the narrative device that truly divides opinion seems to be the magical fortune cookies.
Yes, the cookies. Finally, something interesting. Where do they come from? Poof. Relationship advice in a crunchy shell. Is the building haunted by the ghost of a lonely baker? Is the landlord some creepy voyeur leaving messages? Saw you crying over Logan again. Maybe try wearing blue. Your friendly neighborhood landlord/stalker.
It's presented as a whimsical, magical realism element, a catalyst for communication. Though, admittedly, its origins are never explained, which is her narrative weakness. It feels like a Deus Ex Machina, or perhaps
Lazy writing. Call it lazy writing. We got a fake listener email about this. Dear Heart Book Radio, writes a Cookie Monster from Columbus. I found a fortune cookie in my sock drawer that said invest in Bitcoin. My wife thinks I should ignore it, but the cookie felt magical. What do I do? See, these things are dangerous.
that email is clearly fabricated. But it highlights the absurdity. While I can appreciate the attempt at whimsy, relying on unexplained magical baked goods to advance it does feel convenient. It undermines the character development.
You know what? No. I take it back. The cookies are genius. They're so stupid. They wrap back around to being brilliant. It's like the author knew how boring the characters were and just threw sentient snacks at the problem. If Logan were a sandwich, he'd be,
Oh, for goodness sake. Not the sandwich analogy again. He'd be something meticulously constructed but ultimately bland. Like a cucumber sandwich with the crust cut off by laser.
wrong. He'd be artisanal sardo that looks amazing but has zero flavor. All presentation, no substance. Like this book. Okay. Final verdict time, before my brain melts from the wholesomeness.
Despite the narrative reliance on unexplained phenomena and Olivia's sometimes grating fixation, it fulfills the genre conventions adequately. For its adherence to tropes, I give Misfortune, right? 3 out of 5 unexplained magical plot devices.
This thing was cleaner than a nun's browser history, and twice as dull. Except for the creepy cookie stalker angle. I give it 4 out of 10, suspiciously accurate fortune cookies that were definitely planted by Rahet, the dog. He's the mastermind.
Wasn't the dog?
Next week, folks, get ready. We're diving into a real page turner. My roommate is a sentient puddle of angst. Heard it makes this look like Shakespeare.
You've been listening to Heartbook Radio. Pray for us.